Alright guys, look, you've been a little bit scratchy since the Club World Cup to be honest, but last time against Auckland City, they're not very good, but that was a lot better, okay? So, Napier City Rovers, they didn't make the National League Championship, but they're about that same level, okay? So just a similar performance, let's win another Chatham Cup, so hopefully we get a bit more money for next season, okay? Let's go boys, another cup trophy.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 137 of the New Zealand Builder Nation here on Shaun Does FM with both the All Whites and Cashmere Technical. I hope you're doing well and coming up today. We've got the Chatham Cup final for 2037 where we take on Napier City Rovers, a team who are not in the National League Championship. They finished near the bottom of the Central League. So as per usual here at Cashmere Tech, this should be a game that we can win and hopefully pick up yet another Chatham Cup. So if you're looking forward to that as well, is a little bit of transfer news, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated, but this Chatham Cup final comes right off the back of our World Cup qualifiers, the final for Oceania against PNG at the end of last week. So if you missed that one, I'll leave a link to it over in the top right corner, as you can see there. Just below the top right corner, we absolutely pulled the pants down there on PNG. Also, might have discovered a new wonderkin for us here with the All Whites in that 19-1 aggregate win. So it does mean we are off to the World Cup in 2038. And now it's time to switch back to Cashmere Tech for the first time since the Club World Cup on camera for this Chatham Cup final, where we are going to take on Napier City Rovers. They finished 7th in the Central League. We should be able to handle them pretty comfortably here, considering that, albeit they did beat a decent team in the semis in Manurewa, albeit going back over to have a quick look at the National League Championship standings once we actually get on the right thing. Manurewa have only been okay so far. You'd like to think this is a team that we can beat, especially so far, because we have a perfect record from 3 games in that National League Championship, albeit we were a bit scratchy off the back of the Club World Cup, but did get back on track last time out before that qualifying window with the All Whites. That 5-1 win over Auckland City was certainly a lot better, still going with a slightly more attacking tactic here at Cashmere Tech. But as you can see, we've got a couple of interesting changes going into this Chatham Cup final, and that's because a few players are away on international duties. David Cifuentes, our usual starting goalkeeper, the Spaniard, who hopefully will become a New Zealander in a couple of years' time, and more importantly, is an under-20 player for us. He's away with the Spain under-21, so he unfortunately can't play in this Chatham Cup final. Neither can his new backup, who we did sign prior to coming back for the World Cup qualifiers that we did play at the end of last week, Alexander Logan. He was quite a good goalkeeper, available on a free transfer. Definitely not as good as Cifuentes, but somehow, despite the fact those attributes don't quite look international standards, especially for a team ranked inside the top 10, he's away with the American international team. So I'm not too sure if that signing's quite as good as I thought it would be. To be fair, he hasn't been capped yet. I don't think he'll get capped with the depth that the Americans should have in their squad at goalkeeper, but currently they're making their way through some World Cup qualifiers. It looks like the 6th best team in the world. So yeah, we're also missing our goalkeeper. They have got the likes of Chris Brady, who does look a lot better over there at Wolves, and also Craig Madrid, not a Spaniard, but he has one cap, the lad from the Columbus Crew. But it does look like goalkeeper might actually be quite a weak area there for America, which is a bit surprising. Hopefully he doesn't get a cap. We can just keep him here long enough as a backup, or even if we do let go one day of Cifuentes, then Logan can take over as first choice. He might be a bit higher up the pecking order here with the All Whites, unless of course Cifuentes also is in the All Whites at that stage. We did sign him on a free transfer. It probably wasn't the greatest idea considering our wage budget is still not in a good situation. We are now just under 4K over it, so not ideal, but I did feel like I wanted to add some extra depth to the squad while we could, especially off the back of that Club World Cup, try and improve the overall squad depth for the next time we do get a crack at a big tournament. And also, we did sign a new Australian left winger who's just lying around in our squad somewhere, and there he is there. Dimitri Nakis, he's not on the bench because the Hotman de Villiers, a bit more versatile, can cover both left wing and right wing, but the 27-year-old formerly of Western Sydney and the Central Coast has joined us, yet to make an appearance, but is a bit better than De Villiers these days is the backup to Chris Greenidge, but as I said, not on the bench because De Villiers does have a bit more versatility position-wise, which is quite useful, or bring him on off of the Pines. So those are the signings that we have made off the back also of that sale of Tariq now, which is right off the back of the Club World Cup last week, going up to AFC Auckland. But it also means, because no Cifuentes, that Hosafa has to start over Sergio Arce to make sure we meet our under 20 requirements. So a bit of a change there at centre back as well. So not quite as strong as I was hoping would be for this game. And also, Wiley Khaled still coming back from injury, only recommended for 60 minutes. And to be fair, Salcado's been doing pretty well while he's been away. So Salcado, he can keep that spot until he starts to struggle and Khaled gets back up to full fitness. So a couple of changes to our usual best 11, but considering we're taking on Napier City, you'd like to think we'll be doing quite well here and hopefully can win the Chatham Cup, because that should help us financially, and we're not too bad these days off back of our run at the Club World Cup. Also got the money for winning the Southern League. If we can also win this Chatham Cup final, that should get us pretty close to breaking even in terms of that overall balance, and especially as well if we do quite well in the National League Championship, as you would expect us to. So hopefully this is a season where we can balance the books out here at Cashmere Tech. But I think that's all we need to cover before this game in today's episode. We've already done a bus trip to Napier, and to be fair, this final is at my arena, so hopefully we can pick up the Chatham Cup yet again in the final over the Rovers. And here are the team sheets for the Chatham Cup final. Here are ours up first, and we ran through it before. We've got Anderson and goal, Hosafa at centre back, and also Salcado at right wing, with those players away on international duty and balancing out the under 20 stuff. Thomas and goalie for Napier City is one of our former players, albeit wasn't here for too long, but it looks like they're going with a pretty similar formation, but hopefully being a team who didn't qualify for the National League Championship, we can beat them and win this cup yet again. And just past the 10-minute mark, first highlight of this final, it's a corner here in our favour. Greenidge takes it short there to Almada. Looking for Salcado, can't quite find him, and Anderson there tries to get Napier City going on the counter-attack, albeit we're putting some good pressure on them here, and Thomas with a terrible clearance. We find Greenidge in a good pocket of space. It's awful work trying to play out from back there from Napier City, albeit good pressure from us as well, and Chris Greenidge off the back of taking that corner, which didn't go quite so well. He gets the ball back there off the back of this terrible clearance by our former player and Thomas, secret agent man, and from there it was Zumuzu who played it forward to Greenidge. Not too sure who broke it up before then, but easy finish into the bottom left corner. Some poor work there from Napier, and we take a nice early 1-0 lead here at my arena, albeit shortly off the back of that there is a free kick to Napier. They try and put that far post, but to be fair, we hit it clear, and now Debenham with a good chance here to try and get us on the counter-attack, and that's a nice pass as well. Finds Salcado in a good amount of space, just starts to make his way towards the edge of the box. Can he find someone? Puts it into the mix there for Ezra Zoom as a header, but that one goes over the crossbar. 1-0 after 15 minutes. And we go just past the half-hour mark for the next highlight in this game, and a chance here for Thiago Amada to score a goal from a free kick for, I think it would be the first time on camera. Tries to put this one top right corner. It's close, but to be fair, I would have expected him to do a lot better from free kicks compared to what I've been seeing between him and Lorenzo Janssen. He should be so much better, but so far hasn't been the case. But Green is doing a great job from us from set pieces in this game. I say that, the first corner not too great, but that one a lot better, and picks out Hosafa only in because no Cifuentes had to come in for Arce under 20 rule, but that good far post corner and puts it away past Thomas. 2-0 up with 10 minutes left in the first half. And just about to make our way here into half-time in this Chatham Cup final. As you can tell, stats-wise, complete domination so far, which is very nice to say. Starting to find our gear, it feels like, here with this more attacking mentality and tactic that we're using now at Cashmere Tech. And we are 2-0 up and very happy with that goal, which they pretty much gave us through Greenidge from the poor clearance from their goalkeeper, our former lad, Thomas, and then Hosafa from a far post corner with 10 minutes left in the first half. Everyone out there on a decent enough rank, so I don't think any subs are needed going into the second half. Quite happy with a 2-0 lead. And it hasn't taken long at all until the second half of the first half, but it's an early free kick here to Napier City Rovers, and very similar to the second goal we scored, that one though from a free kick. They go far post, and Belong puts that one away past Anderson. Very similar to what Hosafa did just before half-time, but averaged that from Tim Anderson at far post, considering he's a centre-back. Didn't even bother to jump, so not good work there from that Anderson. I don't think the goalkeeper can be blamed too much for that one, but with their first shot on target of the entire game, Napier City Rovers close the gap to only 1 goal, albeit a few minutes off the back of that. There is a free kick in our favour. Anderson takes it short to Diop, and now Clark a ball over the top, looking for Zoomers. It somehow finds him, very fortunately, and he puts it away past Thomas. Quite lucky how that ball did stick to him, even though it looked like a Napier City Rover defender should have dealt with that. But thankfully, have our 2-goal cushion back here at my arena. Clark with the ball over the top. It was pretty well weighted, but still thought there that Vi or Val, can't quite tell what that centre-back name should be. Thought he could have dealt with that, but unfortunately for him, Zoomers was all over him, and Easy Ezra will put that away 3-1 with a half hour left. And only a few minutes off the back of that third goal, we are now back down the other end here for a throw to Napier City Rovers. They try and put that one far post as well. Thankfully this time Diop will win that ball in the air and plays out to Greenidge, who starts to get us going on the counter-attack. Plays it in there for Clark, up to Armada and Zoomers. Does get in behind, will put that one away, and he gets himself on a hat-trick in this Chatham Cup final. Really good second half so far here for Ezra Zoomers, and really, that should be the goal to put this game to bed off the back of that slightly sloppy start we did have here to the second half of that one. A good goal on the counter-attack, and Tiago Armada will pick up the assist. Zoomers sends Thomas there the completely wrong way. He is looking a bit dodgy, our former man there in goal. A couple of average efforts from him so far in this game, but that makes it 4-1. So because of that, I think we can make some subs. A few guys out there on some deep yellow hearts will play things safe. Turner can come on for Clark, Jack Honey for Diop, and also we might take off Louis Evans sitting on a yellow card. So because of that, we might bring on Isaac Hughes in his place, and Hosafa can go forward to defensive midfield with 25 minutes left and a 3-goal lead. And almost inside the last 10 minutes here of this Chatham Cup final, looks like we're going to be picking up here yet again at Cashmere Tech, but a throw in here for Napier City Rovers inside the final third. Portia there with a finish. Victor Hugo Portia, must be an import with a name like that, but decent finish there into the bottom left corner. It beats Anderson. A few goals he's now conceded in this one, but to be fair, didn't prove too costly with Napier City. A couple of goals here in the second half, and they close the gap back up, to 4-2. And we're just now into the last 5 minutes here of this Chatham Cup final. Can we score a goal to get that advantage back out to 3 goals, and hopefully also allow Ezra Zoomers to pick up a hat-trick? A free kick there in our favour. Can't quite link up with anyone. They actually play it one in field, Napier, and might get a chance on the counter-attack. If they score from this, that would make things very interesting. Thankfully there, I think Debenham got a touch on that to break up the attack, but Portia plays that into the mixture, and I think Anderson there sort of clumsily did actually get a block on that ball, and actually allows us here to do something on the counter-attack. Honey starts to make his way forward down that left-hand side. Some sweet moves from him before playing it back into Turner, and now Hosafa playing a bit further forward these days. Of course, can't take him off because one of our under-20 players, good chance there for Salcedo, almost falls for Zoomers to try and complete his hat-trick, but doesn't quite work out for him. So Napier City, they do just hold on here late to keep it to a 2-goal deficit, and nothing doing off the back of that chance, albeit now we're about to make our way into 4 minutes of added time and do clear our lines, and Zoomers plays that forward to Salcedo, who must have just stayed on side, plays it back there for Hosafa, and Zoomers now a fair bit of work to do if he wants to complete his hat-trick, but to be fair, makes his way inside the box, tight angle, but takes on the shot, beats Thomas, and Ezra Zoomers with a second half hat-trick, and that will ensure that we pick up the Chatham Cup, because to be fair, that's been the difference in this game. Otherwise it would be 2-2, because Napier City have come back at us a bit in the second half, but thankfully Ezra Zoomers has been on form and completes the second half hat-trick. Not too sure how he's got past his man there and still beaten Thomas from a tight angle. Our former man might be helping us out a little bit in this game. That's now a couple of dodgy attempts, as well as that clearance for the first goal that we did score in this game, but thankfully not quite as easy as you'd like. They didn't get many shots off there, Napier City, but did score those 2 goals in the second half, but thankfully we did score a couple there in the second through Ezra Zoomers. He got a hat-trick, and those first half goals through Chris Greenidge, as well as that Hosafa header, do mean that we pick up a 5-2 win, and yet again lift up the Chatham Cup, and hopefully that might get us pretty close to breaking even in the finances. So a good win for us there yet again in a Chatham Cup final here at Cashmere Tech. That one quite satisfying, considering to make a couple of changes with those goalkeepers while on international duty, and also because they had to bring in Hosafa at centre-back. That now does make it, we'll just check shortly, it should come up soon, but mainly 200k for that win in the Chatham Cup. So financially, that will help us out a bit. Hopefully, win the National League Championship later this year, and that should get us close to even. Hopefully then might get a bit more money being poured in the transfer and wage budget side of things, and hopefully then that might balance us out a bit off the back of a quite good year here, winning some prize money at Cashmere Tech. That does now make it 12 times won the Chatham Cup, and I think that would be quite a few in a row for us now here as well. A couple of years ago, Western Suburbs did knock us out early, and when that was back in 2021-32, but apart from that, we've won the Chatham Cup every single year we've been here at the club, so that does now make it 9 out of 10 years we've been here. We have picked up the big cup here in New Zealand. Also, let's just see what else did pop up in the inbox. Apparently, Zoomers was the man of the match, did get an assist in the first half, and of course, complete that hat-trick. And there's the review. The biggest overachievers, Hallsville United. Biggest underachievers, Christchurch United. So it's quite dominated there by the Southern League teams, and also Hallsville, who are, I think, in the second tier. Castro was the top goal scorer from playing our rotation in a couple of those games. Bit of a payout as well for that Chatham Cup win, but to be fair, finances these days not in too bad of a situation. They are improving, and we pick up another Chatham Cup here at Cashmere Tech. That will do it for today's episode. Just that cup final, considering the National League Championship. We are already in a pretty good position to be making the final. We might come back tomorrow and play a game late on in that before we play the final later on in the week. If you enjoyed this one, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. As I said, we might come back tomorrow and play a decent team later on this season. Of course, Auckland City this year, not too good. Western Suburbs and Nelson Suburbs, actually the teams currently up near the top of the National League Championship. But I think what we might come back for is to take on Manurewa, who were the Northern League champions. And we can also do a bus trip there. I don't think we've been to Memorial Park so far, albeit I say that, I think that was the War Memorial Park. So maybe we have done a bus trip there. Might not need to do one for tomorrow's episode, but I think we're going to come back, take on the Northern League champions, see if they're in the hunt to qualify for the final, or if we just give them some shine for winning the Northern League. We'll play that one. Off back of that, got an international window where we could play Tunisia and show you guys highlights from the Senegal game, because we should be beating Senegal. We do that quite regularly, and then kick onto the National League final and end the week with the start of the OFC Champions League in 2038. So I think that's the plan for the rest of this week. So we'll come back tomorrow and take on Manurewa, the Southern League champions, versus the Northern League champions. So until then, thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.